Hello and welcome to Strategic Titans, the podcast where we explore the strategies behind the world's most powerful companies. I'm your host, FAIZAL, and today's episode, the title Strategy and Culture Compass Global Business Edition, takes you inside the global boardroom of two tech giants, which is Apple from the United States and Samsung from South Korea. Both companies have revolutionized the way we live, communicate, and connect. But how exactly do they manage to stay ahead in different market, culture, and economies? What drives their international success? So today, we explore their global strategies, organizational structures, leadership philosophies, and approaches to diversity and localization. So to unpack all of this, we joined by four incredible industry experts, which is two from Apple and the other two is from Samsung. Each of them offering a unique insider's perspective. Let's welcome them now.
Hi Faiz and hello to everyone and listeners. I'm BATRISYIA, Director of Global Strategy at Apple. Looking forward to this insightful discussion.
Alright, so it's pleasure to be here. My name is Iffah Farahusna, VP of HR and Diversity at Apple, and I can't wait to share our people-focused strategies.
So, hi everyone, I'm NAJWA, Head of Global Market Strategy at Samsung. Excited to discuss how we navigate international market.
Hello everyone, my name is Mohamad Shahid and it's good to be here. I'm from Regional Talent and Culture Manager for Samsung in Asia Pacific. And I'm also happy to contribute and discuss how Samsung bridges strategy with local culture.
Fantastic. Thank you all. Let's begin our deep dive with a look at global strategic planning and how these two companies adapt their products and services for diverse international markets. So Alisa, could you kick us off with Apple approach to international strategic planning?
Thank you. Absolutely Faiz. To answer the question from our moderator, Apple's global strategy is centered around delivering a consistent premium brand experience. We emphasize a seamless ecosystem such as for our products like iPhone, Mac, iPad, iCloud, and Apple Pay that works flawlessly across regions, whether you are in New York, Beijing, Korea, Japan, or Kuala Lumpur. While we rarely change the core product's features, we do adapt to local regulations. For example, in the Europe, we shifted from the Lightning cable to USB-C, and in China, we enabled Alipay. It's what we call smart localization. We adapt just enough to be relevant without losing our core brand identity. That helps us maintain trust and simplicity.
Okay, Alisa, got it. So you are saying the heart stays the same, but the wrapping adjusts. I like that. Now, Diana, how does Samsung strategy differ from Apple's?
So, great question from Faiz. So, to answer the question, Samsung takes a more adaptive and innovation-driven approach. So, we invest heavily in R&D by developing portable phone 5G chips, and we strategically build factories in countries like India and Vietnam to reduce cost and increase efficiency. So we localize product to suit cultural preference. Uh, for example, in India, we do dual SIM models are popular, so we offer them widely. While in Africa, we provide FM radios and long battery life. We also localize campaign like using cricket team at in South Asia. And beyond that, we strategically build factory in places like Vietnam and India to reduce cost and respond faster to demand. So our global strategy is very market responsive.
Thank you, Diana. Alright, so Apple aims for unity and Samsung goes deep with local customization. So Iffah, from your perspective, does Apple's consistency ever get challenged in fast-moving markets?
Alright, so thank you Faiz for the question. So we hear that a lot. So Apple approach is actually very intentional. So at Apple, we prioritize strategic consistency, where our goal is to deliver a unified brand experience across all markets. So whether you are in New York or Kuala Lumpur, an iPhone feels like an iPhone, and that builds trust. So that said, we are not rigid. So we are adept behind the scene, like accepting Alipay in China or assembling iPhone in India to meet the local regulations. So our product may look the same, but we tailor payment system and also service bundling and compliance to the local needs. So while Samsung adapts visibly, Apple approach is more about a quiet localization where we perceive our premium identity while staying relevant in the diverse market.
Okay, thank you, Iffah. And Shahid, how does Samsung translate this adaptability into competitive advantage?
Okay, to answer the question from Faiz, adaptability is one of our strengths. Samsung's local responsiveness is key to market penetration. Our price segmentation strategy allows us to serve both emerging and developed economies with budget-friendly series phones and high-end Galaxy Fold models. Local teams provide feedback which influences product features and marketing. That two-way communication help us evolve fast and deliver solutions that matter local consumer behavior and needs.
So, excellent points from Shahid. Why Apple builds trust through consistency, Samsung builds connection through adaptability. Let's now move on into the next part. How both companies structure their organizations globally to keep those strategy running smoothly. Okay guys, let's now dive into how both Apple and Samsung manage their organizational structures on a global scale. It's one thing to have a brilliant strategy, but executing that consistently across countries that take a solid internal setup. So Diana, walk us through how Samsung is structured internationally.
Okay, sure. In Samsung, we use a hybrid structure by combining centralized R&D and global strategy with localized flexibility. A headquarter in South Korea set the innovation direction, but regional office have a say in how things get implemented. So what I mean is manage pricing, promotion, and market-specific adaptation. So for example, Samsung India had direct input on things like multilingual keyboards and even local product tweaks. These structures help us respond quickly to regional trends while still aligning with global goals.
Thank you, Diana. So, Alisa, how about Apple's? What does the organizational structure look like over there?
Okay, Faiz. For Apple, Apple uses a centralized model with strong HQ control from Cupertino. Most decisions, such as product design, marketing, and pricing decisions, are usually made centrally. The idea is to deliver a consistent global experience that reflects our premium brand. That said, our regional offices handle important things like legal compliance, customer support, and minor localization. So we're not rigid, but we are focused. For instance, Apple in China follows Cupertino's vision but still adapts to regulatory needs or partners with local services like Alipay.
Thank you, Alisa. That's an interesting contrast. So, Samsung empowers local teams for agility and Apple leans into consistency. So, Shahid, what does Samsung HQ subsidiary relationship look like on the ground?
Okay, so our collaboration is built on mutual respect. Local teams don't just receive instructions, but they co-create solutions with the headquarters. Feedback loops from regional offices shape development decisions, which improves local relevance. This structure is ideal for fostering innovation at the local level while keeping strategic alignment globally. I'll give you an example. When demand surged for budget phones in Indonesia, our local team worked directly with the headquarters to adjust product priorities. That fast feedback turned into real product changes, and that is the power of a hybrid model.
Okay, thank you, Shahid. So that's really highlight the benefit of listening to the front lines. So Iffah, does Apple's more centralized model ever slow things down or limit local innovation?
Okay, so that's a fair question. Yes, our centralized structure does come with some trade-off. We don't respond to every local trend instantly, but we prioritize consistency, control, and also quality. What help balance this is our heavy investment in global market research. So before we launch any new thing, we deeply analyze the local needs, whether it's the data privacy law, payment preferences, or retail experience. And also, local teams, we contribute to regulatory alignment and customer engagement. So while innovation stay centralized, execution is still regionally sensitive.
Okay, thank you, Iffah. So in a way, Apple is locally aware but globally led, while Samsung is globally guided but locally shaped. That is two different methods, but both effective in their own ways. Let's take this further. Up next, we will explore the leadership philosophies and employee motivation strategies that keep these companies running smoothly across cultures. Okay, welcome back. Let's now turn to leadership. So, Shahid, let's start with Samsung. How would you describe Samsung's leadership style in a cross-cultural environment?
Okay, so thank you, Faiz. So Samsung's leadership is really a hybrid blend of East and West. We draw from Confucian values like respect for hierarchy and group harmony, especially in Asian markets. But we also adopt Western leadership frameworks when it comes to innovation and performance management. For example, in manufacturing and operations, we often apply transactional leadership. It's structured, KPI driven with clear accountability. That works really well in high output environments. But in R&D or product teams, we use transformational leadership. Here, the focus is on creativity, long-term vision, and innovation. We give more autonomy, encourage idea sharing, and recognize efforts that lead to meaningful change. It's a situational approach and it keeps us adaptable.
Okay, thank you, Shahid. That makes sense. Different style for different contexts. Ifa, let's bring you in. How has Apple's leadership evolved, especially after Steve Jobs?
Right. So that's a great question, Faiz. So Apple under Steve Jobs was very visionary and also top down. So Steve Jobs was known for his perfectionism and intuition and pushing teams to think differently, which it works for innovation, but not always for sustainability. Under Tim Cook, Apple leadership has transformed into something far more collaborative and people focused. Tim Cooks, he emphasized the operational efficiency, inclusion, and also shared decision making. It's a shift from genius led to team led, and it means that it's less about a single genius and it's more about empowering, and that has really reshaped our international culture. And now we focus heavily on employee wellness, leadership transparency, and also a strong sense of purpose, whether it's through a mental health program, equity training, or a sustainability goals. So leadership at Apple is all about empowering others and not just directing them.
Okay, thank you, Iffah. So very different styles, both powerful in their own way. Let's move on to Diana. How does Samsung keep such a globally diverse workforce engaged?
So, for the question, we use localized engagement strategy. For instance, in Southeast Asia, we focus on recognition and community, like public awards, regional events, things that make employees feel connected and valued. In Europe and North America, employees may value autonomy and innovation, so we would flexible rules, allow remote work, and empower decision making. So one thing we are especially proud of is our community investment programs like Samsung Innovation Campus give underprivileged to have access to tech education. These are just CSR. They become pipelines for local talent, which is incredibly motivating for employees who want their work to matter.
Okay, thank you, Diana. So employees are not just working for a paycheck; they're part of a mission. So Alisa, how does Apple support employee motivation across cultures?
Thank you, Faiz. At Apple, we focus on values driven motivation. People want to be part of something meaningful, so we emphasize our commitment to sustainability, privacy, and accessibility. We also invest heavily in career development, from leadership tracks to technical training. We help people grow within the company, but we do not stop at career progression. We also support their well being, things like mindfulness programs, stress management, and flexible work setups all contribute to a healthy work culture. Our internal platform, which is Apple Voices, lets employees share their cultural experiences and personal stories. It builds a global sense of belonging, which is incredibly motivating.
Okay, so where Samsung adapts based on local motivational needs, Apple sticks closely to its core values but creates space for personal and cultural expression. This is fascinating because even though their approach differ, both companies clearly understand that leadership is not just about direction, it's about connection. Okay, coming up next, we'll talk about how Apple and Samsung manage diversity and how they strike the balance between global branding and local relevance, and also the heart of the global strategy. Stay tuned. Okay, welcome back. So we've talked strategy, structure, and leadership. Now, let's dig into globalization and diversity. It's the challenge every global company faces. Like, how do you keep a consistent global brand while still connecting with local market? So we've started with Alisa. How does Apple balance this?
Thank you for the question. At Apple, our approach is all about subtle localization. We maintain a strong, consistent global identity, same sleek design, same minimalist store vibe, but we adapt quietly behind the scenes. Take India for instance. We began assembling iPhones locally to meet regulations and reduce the pricing pressure. Then, in Singapore, we designed a retail store that blends local architecture with Apple's signature aesthetic. So the brand always looks familiar, but it's also respecting local cultures and laws.
Okay, so Diana, I know Samsung approach is quite different, isn't it?
Yes, very much so. Samsung strategy leans heavily to local customization. We empower our regional teams to shape product features, marketing campaign, and CSR programs. For example, in India, we launched phone with dual SIM slots, knowing many users switch carriers. Our aids use cricket teams and Diwali celebration. While in Africa, Our phone have FM radios and long battery life to meet practical needs. This is because we listen, adapt, and act because we want Samsung to feel like a local brand, not just a global one.
So it's like Apple aims for brand uniformity with local sensitivity, while Samsung aims for local relevance with global oversight. Let's switch gears slightly. So Iffah, how does Apple handle global diversity in the workforce?
So diversity is one of our core values. We want our teams to reflect to the world we serve. So we focus on inclusive hiring, leadership diversity, and also employee resource group that support women, LGBTQ, and also the racial minorities. So accessibility is also a big part of it, like features like voiceover for the visual impaired or live caption ensure our tag is inclusive. And while we comply with the local law, even when it means just adjusting app availability, we always stand by our values and on inclusion internally.
Okay, thank you Iffah. So Shahid, how does Samsung empower local communities?
Okay, thank you Faiz. For Samsung, we implement grassroots diversity programs such as digital literacy training for girls and job readiness initiative in underprivileged areas. We take a community-based approach in many regions, especially where access to technology or education is limited. We run initiatives like the Samsung Innovation Campus, which trains youth in digital skills. In Southeast Asia and Africa, we offer digital literacy programs for girls, and in conservative regions like the Middle East, we promote inclusion more subtly, aligning with cultural norms while expanding opportunities. It's all about meeting people where they are.
Okay, Shahid. So to summarize, Apple leans on global first strategy, adjusting quietly to local needs and championing diversity from the top down, while Samsung takes a local first approach, deeply rooted in each region's culture and challenge. So coming up, we will hear final reflections from our speakers about what can Apple and Samsung learn from each other. So stay with us. Okay, so we covered a lot of ground today, from global strategies and organizational structures to leadership, diversity, and globalization. As we wrap up, I want to hear from each of you, what can Apple and Samsung learn from each other? We start with Alisa.
Sure, Faiz. I think Apple can definitely learn from Samsung's agility, especially in how they localize their marketing and adapt quickly to regional demands. Their ability to connect at a grassroots level really builds community trust and loyalty. That's something we can explore more deeply without compromising our global brand identity.
From my perspective, Samsung can benefit from Apple's ecosystem mindset. The seamless integration across devices and services really strengthens customer loyalty. It's not just about hardware, it's about building a digital lifestyle. That level of brand cleansing is powerful.
So, Ifa, what stand out for you?
Okay, so I really admire Samsung's community focus on CSR initiative. So they go beyond the corporate space and make a real impact on the ground, especially in the education and also the digital inclusion. It's inspiring and it reminds us that being a global company also being a good neighbor whenever we operate.
Beautifully said. So, Shahid, what can Samsung take from Apple playbook?
Okay, as for me, what I respect about Apple is their brand consistency and discipline. They know who they are, and every product, store, and message reinforces that identity. It builds deep trust with customers worldwide. That kind of clarity is something any company can learn from.
Okay, so what an incredible conversation. We've seen how both Samsung and Apple thrive through very different yet equally effective strategies. From global planning to leadership and diversity, these tech giants continue to shape the global business landscape in powerful ways. So thank you Alisa, Iffah, Diana and Shahid for your insightful contribution, and to our listeners, thank you for tuning in to this special edition of Strategic Titans, the Strategy and Culture Compass Global Business Edition. Until next time, I'm Faiz Faizal, reminding you to think global, lead smart and act with purpose. That's all from us. Thank you.